All right. Well, we are back. Six more games of Scrabble before the championship, and Jackson and Josh both doing themselves a big favor winning their games. Josh still 3 games up on every player not named Jackson. Jackson 2 games ahead of the rest of the field. Kevin Fraley at 15-7 is by far the biggest threat to them, and no other players have 14 wins. In fourth place, Carl Johnson at 13.5 and 8.5. So 1 or 2 more wins by Jackson and Josh both, and they'll likely put this tournament away. Joey Mallick must go 6-0 over the remaining games to make it into the finals. He'll need a victory over Jackson to have any shot. But the pairings were done last night for the first 2 rounds. And so, despite maybe an anticlimactic matchup, this is what we've got. I'm certain Joey going to give his all into this matchup, though, and Jackson obviously would like to win quite a bit as well. So Joey to play first, Ahijlr. Standing out to me right away, he's got Jailer for 42, as well as a couple of different spellings of the same word, Hijira or Hydra, Hijra or Hejira. So Jailer 42, Hijira 40, or Hijra 38. All good options. Chloe, what's your favorite there?
I think Hydra at the moment. Just the EL leave is pretty balanced. Though it's a slight sacrifice, you might go with Hejira. Though at that point, I think you just do Jailer because the H is really a fine tile. But it looks like he's going with Hydra,
Yeah.
keeping a more balanced leave, which makes total sense.
Yeah, I'd play Jailer here. The H, not a terrible tile, not super good for bingoing, but 44 points is more than 38 points. Your expert analysis, sponsored by Matt Canik. And I would have taken the points there, but he's a fine play as well. And
Yeah, I
Jackson
think
not going to have a good response, as EEFIMPV is not the best way to start off a game.
I think Hydra also slightly more difficult to overlap or underlap, so maybe those scoring comeback plays will be a little less than with Jailer.
Yeah, perhaps so. Jackson looking to play Hempie, Hempie, down from the H. That's how he's arranged his tiles now. And while that is a good play, it does open the board, and he holds terribly. FV, a god awful leave for Jackson. So now I think looking at 5, FIVE instead. That'll play either with HE or EH for 19 points, or if he opts to play defense, he'll play it with FA for 16. He's putting it down with HE. I think this is a reasonable play. That F not quite as dangerous as it looks in that triple line, and Jackson going to be scoring 19 points, EMP leave. I think this is a good decision by him out of a bad rack with many or without many options.
Yeah,
Five is going to give back a good play for Joey, though. Shekel, SHEQEL, 36 points. Tough to spot that word and tough to pull the trigger on, but that's substantially better, I think, than QIS and Hijras.
yeah, I did not see that at first. So cool play. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds it though. I think Joey's pretty good at word finding, and yeah, it'd be cool to see that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's just QIS or just QI. That also probably has some merit. I wonder how many tiles that hits with. Um,
Yeah, rather aggressive fish by Joey. Only 11 points, but it does close down that F spot. So if he can't hit it hard, neither can Jackson. And DEILSV hits on a lot of draws. I don't believe the N is one of them, though. And so without an E floating for Sniveled, Joey not going to bingo this turn.
yeah, what do you think of Jumpy this turn for Jackson?
Jumpy's a good option, yeah, for sure, out of this rack. Trying to see what else he has. Bumpy, perhaps, if he wants to play off one more tile. But not a great pull again. There's also an obscure 6 Jumbie, Jumbie, plays down from the J for 23, holding PY. Or I think a pretty standard play here as Jackson arranges it on his rack is Yup and HEY. That also nicely sets up his M to play underneath the U and hit big points next turn. Not much underlaps a U, especially not scoring tiles. So I think Yup is a really good opportunity for Jackson here.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Looks like he might go with Jumpy. It's a bit harder to, or just jump, setting up his Y. That makes sense for Jackson. He's always looking for those setup plays, like we talked about. Um, yeah, I don't really
Jumbie,
have a strong preference.
Jumbie, and TWL only exists as the six. It is the spirit of a dead person, and it pluralizes with an S, but no other hooks to Jumbie. A Quackle Sim loves Yup here over the other options. I think that setup is quite strong on a board without many opportunities. But Jackson opting to play Jumpy instead. That'll be 25 points for him, and it'll pull him within 5 of Joey, who again missed on his fish into DEILSV and will not have any bingos on this turn. We'll see what he decides to do, how long he wants to play. If he gets caught up in these bingo tiles, he's got shorter options like Viney to the Y, holding DELS, or can score a little bit more with a play like Helved, HELVED, for 26. He also has two double doubles available, Splined and Spindle for 40 points, but those score a V and blow up what is a very promising rack. So what I know about Joey, I expect him to play a little bit shorter and tighter here and try to keep these bingo prone tiles. But I don't know his game super well compared to some of the others out there. Chloe, what do you favor here between those options?
I don't love Spindle. Yeah, just keeping the V is pretty ugly. Splined probably slightly better just for not having hooks in my book, though I guess Splined does give back a bigger scoring spot with the triple word score. Yeah, I'd probably look for something with the Y. Um, with the Hydra's hook, also the S is pretty good. It's probably not going anywhere without someone hooking it. So the S is quite valuable. And I think, though it's hard to give up about 20 points, you might want to consider doing that.
I have a favorite play here, and that's backed up by a Quackle simulation. Helved, I think, setting up your S or retaining your S rather on a board where there's no opportunities except pluralizing Hydra. I really like what that does for you in the future. Quackle agrees. Helved, a very, very solid play, but it looks like Joey might be looking at Vinyl instead, which also sets up his S, albeit not very strongly. Only really a 4 or 5 or 6 could play there down to the triple. But Vinyl, what Joey electing to play here for 22 points, holding DES.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Probably Helve might have been slightly better, but they can't be too far apart.
Jackson's best play here is actually really cute. By far, I think his strongest option, because Joey just played Vinyl, is extending it just like this by Vinyl.
Oh no,
No, no.
Fib Green.
Jackson playing a phony here, I believe.
Wow.
Fibrine is no good. Fibrin as a 6 is, but Fibrine as a 7 is not. And it does give
Wow.
Joey back Nutsedge out of this rack. So
Oh
Joey
wow.
doesn't even appear to be holding this play. We've seen now 3 phonies in 2 games on day 4 of the Nationals. Joey not holding, but gonna bingo back with Nutsedge. So what an interesting move. Buy Vinyl would have been sick. But Fibrine comes down, not held, and Nutsedge comes back for Joey, who pulls ahead now 149 to 83. But Jackson to respond strongly as he picks up the M for underlaps and the Z. And he'll have plays like Maze, Maize, for 63, or shorter words like Maze or Mees. I think you've got to play Maze here, Maize, 63 points. Get rid of 3 of your 5 vowels and counter Joey's big score with a huge score of your own. Not really a reason to think about
Wow.
anything else from my
Yeah, and
perspective.
Joey picking up both blanks there. But yeah, what an interesting choice to play Fibrine, whatever that non-word is. Um, I know Jackson, we all know Jackson is someone who intentionally phonies more than most people, but he played that. Yeah, I just am not convinced about that play.
Yeah, I mean, from a straight equity perspective, definitely stronger than any of his other options. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson is maybe only 50-50 on that word. It just
Yeah,
stands out as a great play. I wonder if Joey would have held if he didn't have such a good response. But, I would hold almost no matter what if I'm even remotely unsure and think things out. I would take the time to see, do I have a bingo that isn't Nutsedge before I just accept. So I
yeah,
think Jackson was likely unsure and Joey probably didn't even think about it given the caliber of the opponent he's playing and the counter he had. Jackson is hitting Maze here, and Joey with his ridiculous draw. Teach me how to draw, Joey. CDELS blank blank. And he'll likely bingo pluralizing mazes and shutting down this board, something like curdles or cuddles or cudgels, or pretty much any bingo that puts the C on the double letter and plays down to the E in mazes. We may see him spend a little time here looking for double doubles through that P, but none exist. So likely going to settle for one of the 9,089 point bingos out of this rack. I expect Joey to spend some time here. With two blanks on your rack, you want to make sure you do the right thing. That double opportunity is so huge; those plays could score 100 plus. And Jackson again sponsoring our Scrabble playing website, Woogles. You can see WOOGDES. Not quite, but WOOGLES, Woogles.io, a website built by Scrabble players to play online. Depending on your lexicon, you'll always find games in TWL or CSW. There's also HastyBot for practicing, sparring against a computer who plays instantly and lets you focus on your own turn. So if you haven't signed up for Woogles yet, get on Woogles. A lot of Scrabble players are on there. You can find me. My username is Matt, Matt. Very creative. And we'll try to figure out what these blanks are. I imagine this is Cuddles, Cuddles, but it might not be. And
Yeah.
Cuddles kind of looks like it might take a front S, but it does not.
Yeah, and worth noting, I missed this at first, but Joey would have had guested in Hydra's, even if he challenged off Fibrine. So he still would have bingoed. So yeah, seems like he just overlooked that being phony.
Team on the ground confirming the blanks are a U and a D. This is in fact Cuddles, so we get Woogles and Cuddles, and Woogles is now playable through the L, so that's a huge consideration. Woogles not actually a word, but you got to endorse the website when you can.
Yeah, Woggles though, pretty close and is valid.
Woggles, very nice. Joey drawing, I thought that was Isobath, but the last tile is a T, not an I, so not going to bingo back, I think, as Jackson's got to figure out what to do with a pretty yucky rack here, DEGOOSW. Anything jumping out to you immediately, Chloe?
Not immediately. I will keep looking, but yeah, you want to get rid of that W and O, possibly the G if possible. But going to be tough to get rid of all three in this lexicon. I guess you could play
Absolutely.
Dowd or something, but there's probably better options than that.
Yeah, if I'm Jackson, I'm worried about getting walled in on this board. I'm now down nearly 100 points, and I'm not going to score very well this turn. The only real way to open the board is pluralizing Hydra or playing on top of that A, as the siege is so defensive in Cuddles. So I'm looking to make a play that opens the board. One way to do that potentially is Wooded, Wooded, through either one of those Ds. It scores the same, playing through the blank and hitting the double letter, or through the natural D. Another option is Wodges, Wodges. Burn the S, play Hydras. That's 32 points and gets us to the top of this board. But I feel like a play like Wodges gives back so much to Joey, and a 4 or 5 letter word playing down alongside from the triple is going to just crush the board again, score super well for Joey, and Jackson will have burned his best tile for a marginal gain at best.
Yeah.
I wonder, and this is a decent opportunity for Jackson maybe to try the phony front hook Scuttles, SOW and Scuttles or something in that vein, just because it's another way to get to that part of the board. But I think Wooded, likely Jackson's best option here.
Oh, he's looking at Whooshed, which is another way to open a bit more, but it's sort of in that same area of the board where he maybe would rather open the right side rather than the left at the moment.
Yeah. Whooshed, I think, would allow that right side to be opened by other plays down the road. So
true.
building the board the way he wants to build it in the long term. I don't know. Quackle is very partial to playing OW next to Cuddles, making LO and EW. That's ridiculous. Don't ever just blindly ascribe to what Quackle says, because it is a dumb robot that makes its highest equity play independent of anything else. And against a real human, when you open a triple word score down 80 or 90, they will block the triple word score. So stuff like that doesn't work on real people, quite like Quackle.
And Jackson going with Waj instead, which seems like a reasonable balance of doing what we talked about with opening the right side and getting rid of some of those leathers he doesn't want. It just makes it pretty likely for Joey to be able to come back with a play either through the E or ending in E on that triple.
Yeah. I think I prefer putting a D out there, but maybe Jackson looking at the sheer number of vowels left in the unseen pool, 46 unseen and
Yeah.
oodles of vowels. I believe 22, 23 of those are vowels.
Yeah,
So
and
maybe he thinks there's a chance Joey in vowel trouble won't be able to address the E very well.
yeah, and he will bingo next turn. He draws Tandoors and Odonates in multiple spots to bingo. So at least he drew that. But yeah, even after Joey's next play, Jackson will still likely be down after a bingo.
Joey has the other back hook to Hijra. It does also take a back H, and so he could consider a play like both BOTH and Hijra. But when you're winning with a margin like this and there is an E in a triple triple line, you should probably do something about that. So I'd be shocked if we see anything but bathe, BATH,
Yeah.
come down. Perhaps Joey would play hog instead to the G in wog. UH with no back hooks in this lexicon. So that's actually nice and defensive. But ABSTT, not a superb leave, although drawing into a lot of vowels, perhaps less scary than it seems. I think you've got to play bathe here, though.
Yeah, agreed. You can't let that triple triple stay open, and yeah, it's a prime opportunity to score some points while keeping well, especially with this pool.
So Jackson's gambit working out. He opens a spot and Joey knocks out the spot, but Jackson gets to bingo elsewhere as again Tandoors and Donators both play, as Chloe mentioned, through the R. Either one of those bingos scores just 65, but it is a step in the right direction for Jackson, who after Joey's
But
last
not
play
after
is
this draw from Joey. He's
oh
gonna
my
bingo again.
goodness. Oh, anoints, onanist, all those. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson to bingo, Joey to bingo right back, Jackson to bingo through the R in Hijres. And depending on this play, I think Joey may or may not be able to double. Sonatina going to come down as a
Mhm.
double with Donators. So Jackson to bingo for 65, Joey to bingo back for 78. And
I wouldn't be
just when
surprised.
Jackson, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if something like Nations or Anoints comes
No,
instead to really block that side of the board.
Sonatina plays to the A in Hijra with 6
Oh,
overlaps for
wow. No.
91.
What? That is
What?
insane.
What? Do it, Joey. Do it, Joey.
Oh, does he see it?
He,
Oh, he's
surely
looking at
he
the other
sees
placement right
Sonatina,
now.
but it's easy to find that double and lay it down right away as he's
Oh,
doing.
yes, and he
No, Joey, you're going
that
too fast. No. Oh,
would have
man,
been insane.
91 points would have been the 6 overlap play, and it would have been incredibly defensive, a missed opportunity for Joey, but he's drawn well enough this game that I don't think it's going to cost him as he's now out bingoed Jackson 3-1.
Yeah, and Jackson, especially with this rack and the board getting more and more closed down, he's gonna have a tough time getting back into this. He needs now at least two bingos to come back, and yeah, the chances of two bingos coming down are pretty unlikely, I think.
Yeah. Jackson running out of time. But this does, for us at home, provide better action as the anticlimax would be Jackson and Josh running away with this tournament. I think for the best content, kind of selfishly, I'm hoping that Josh just wins out again today, easily clinches that first spot, and we see a bloodbath for the second spot. But I know Jackson, a great guy, Josh, a great guy, Kevin's a nice guy. Everybody at the top really are nice people. And I'd be happy to see just about anybody in those finals. But for us at home, trying to get some action and excitement, Jackson losing this game will provide us with that excitement. Who will make the finals? A Jackson loss makes it quite interesting. Becton playing Puri here. Some people wondering maybe why doesn't he play Puli, Puli instead? That's because there are 3 R's in the unseen pool to Jackson. So he wants to get rid of one, expecting likely to draw another one. Let's get the unseen pool on display for y'all. As I don't think it'll matter this game. This is basically over. But, what kind of shots can Jackson try to pull? I think the obvious play for Joey here, WOE alongside the D and the O in donators, 23 points. AETT is not a superb leave. You're not looking to bingo. You just want to pound out 30 points if you're Joey. And AETT, if you pull vowels or one pointers that don't bingo, might put you in a bit of trouble. But you're in such a commanding position. Just kind of shut down this board. I guess the one concern with WOE is if Jackson bingos from the W to that triple, it's
Yeah.
unlikely. But if it happens, that's going to be a 100-pointer. I think, though, you can live that bingo even if it happens.
Yeah, agreed. It's even after that, Jackson would probably still be down, and Joey could probably find a way to maintain his lead. So yeah, WOE makes sense to me as well. He might also think of something like two TEW, but or toe, but yeah, the T a little bit easier to bingo from.
Yeah, and Jackson not drawing a bingo this turn is almost definitely going to need a bingo next turn. He does have bingo prone tiles, but he's definitely running out of time. Joey playing Watted, Wotted. Instead, that's another good way to address this D spot. Also plays off 5 tiles to try to get to the end of this game just a little bit quicker. I know that's a controversial take. Some people like that strategy. Some people think it is the dumbest thing they've ever heard. But in this situation, seems quite appropriate. And Jackson has a really cool play. Actually, has 2 really cool plays. If he wants to, he needs to score now and try to get in bingo range. A Pernio, a weird 6, Pernio, plays from the P and Jumpy for 28, holding LO. He can also play Retinol through the T and donators, making his own 6 underlap for 27. But I think more standard plays would be to find a place to play either your L and your O, or both of your O's and your L with something like Lou and OW, or Old OW and LO.
Yeah, makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised about something like Pernio, but I think yeah, you got to keep a slightly more bingo prone leave than that. He's looking at roll. I think that top left spot, he's worried that if Joey scores there, one bingo or maybe even 2 bingos would just not be enough because that is the prime scoring spot on the board. So maybe wanting to take out that spot.
Yeah, and Jackson likely looking at this unseen pool, seeing an abundance of A's and E's as well as other scoring tiles. I think he needs to take that spot away to
Yeah.
make sure Joey doesn't get free and easy points. And that's what he's going to do. His draw into INO, his last real opportunity to get back into this game. He'll need a bingo to have a shot.
Yeah, totally. But Joey drawing the X, drawing the K, these high scoring tiles will definitely benefit him here. Even if there's not an amazing spot for them, he's still going to get a bunch of points and just further cement his lead.
Joey has some other incredible options. So many cool stacky plays on this board between donators and Sonatina, but he has unaxed through the N and donators with 5
Wow.
overlaps, shutting down this board completely and basically guaranteeing victory. And he has Kedah, Keddah, through the disconnected DH in Cuddles and Bathe for
Wow.
46, holding
Kedah is awesome.
RUX. I expect we'll see like probably a sad, boring play like Hex at an KA on top of Sonatina, as both Unaxed and Kedah are very tough to spot. But Joey can do just about anything right now and win this game. We may even see him play very long, something like Unraked through the N in Sonatina, just to guarantee that this game is going to end very quickly. But Unaxed would be an awesome option if he sees it. Kedah would be a really cool option as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and Jackson not drawing anything like what he wanted anyway. So this one's definitely going Joey's way now.
Yeah, once again, Jackson double blanked on stream. So after double blanking nearly all of his opponents for the first half of this tournament, I haven't seen him draw a blank on stream in his last 2 games.
Yeah,
Perhaps his fortunes have reversed. Again, for us at home, good content if he loses a few more games and makes things interesting.
yeah, I guess that's how drawing tiles works. It generally tends to even out in the end.
No, I thought if you drew none of the blanks for the first day, then you're going to draw none of the blanks for the entire tournament. That's what Joey
Yeah,
told me.
yeah, it's true. It is what he thinks. I'm sure we all get the reports, the blank reports.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at cool ways for Joey to try to set up his X, but I'm not seeing Anything cool?
Yeah.
He might just play
You can play,
naked
like,
from the end.
AUE and making EW to set up Ox if you draw an O, but there's only 2 O's out. Not the best.
Yeah,
Or did
Joey
you
can do just
did
about
you leave?
anything
Did
and
you
win this
did you leave
game.
and actually set up AX?
I think the one thing Joey can't do is play one tile, as that's the only way Jackson could potentially draw and play 2 bingos. There are 8 tiles in the bag, so you want to make sure if Jackson bingos this turn, he can't draw 7 tiles
Yeah.
and bingo again next turn. And Drunk will do that. Drunk is a fine play and a fitting one for Vegas. And I'm sure what many of these players are starting to do as this tournament approaches the end and more players fall out of contention. If you've never partied with Scrabble people, you are missing out. Lots of fun happens at these tournaments, especially in cool cities. The New Orleans tournament every January in New Orleans, Louisiana, always an incredible time. And Kate and Lila and Lindsay do an amazing job with that tournament. You've got to get yourself down to one if you haven't yet. I will endorse that tournament strongly for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I would second that. Great tournament, great city, and I think they just announced the dates and information recently, and they have a whole website. I think it's called like NOLA Scrabble or something.
Just Google Crescent City Cup Scrabble. You'll find the rest. And yeah, get yourself there. I think if you register early, you get a discount as well. The hotel block almost always sells out. Super popular tournament. And usually CSW and NWL offered. And I believe even CSW with a light division at that tournament. So get yourself on out there. Get on that list. Play some Scrabble. Go party with people. Yeah, we see Lindsay in chat, Crescent City Cup 2024. Let's go. Yeah, Lindsay, let's go. As long as y'all keep putting on that tournament, I will endorse it wholeheartedly forever. Thanks for all you do for the game of Scrabble.
14 Dominoes saying, I guess it is possible to beat Jackson is funny because I know he has one of the most ridiculous records against Jackson that probably anyone has, winning like, 12 of their last 13 games or something. So
Wow. Yeah, that is difficult to do against any player, but especially against Jackson Smylie. Can you tell us your secret, Cesar? I'm sure we're going to get a funny and witty response. So we'll see. But Jackson, he can spend all day on this turn. This game is this game is done. So I'm just talking about other stuff right now. Jackson needs to make a word here, and I think he will eventually do that.
you'd hope he would.
Yeah.
In his time.
Foo. So after drunk, we get foo. Those 2 words that go together often. A drunk foo. And Josh now, or Joey now, AAEEGLX. He'll get to score some points. He has the awesome valvate from the V through the V and the T for 26. But if I'm Joey, I'm just going to try to get rid of the X here and make sure I don't eat it on my rack. I'll play something like Taxa alongside Sonatina down from that T, making TA and OX. Really just make a word and you win the game. If you're Joey, there are no bingo lines available. Jackson's not going to be able to do anything exciting. And yeah, just do something and you win.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, really not any good things with the X, but it does not matter here.
We're seeing in chat, where will next year's Scrabble Players Championship be? They have not signed a contract yet, but they're looking at a number of host cities. Buffalo, New York, potentially would be a return there, as we've had 2 nationals there already in the past decade and a half. Fort Wayne, Indiana was on the list as well. Baltimore, Maryland, the work that Cheryl Kagan, state senator from Maryland, can do to get us good deals there. And from what I understand, the convention center right next to Camden Yards, the Baltimore Orioles baseball stadium. I'd love to try to make it out to a Baltimore Nationals. And the dark horse, a city we've never been to before, Loveland, Colorado. I think those are the 4 candidates right now that we're looking and kind of weighing the options, getting competitive bids. So we'll see Baltimore, Fort Wayne, Buffalo, Colorado. I'd be excited to go to any one of those places. Again, you get me in a bar with some other Scrabble players and a bag of tiles and a board. We're going to have a good time no matter where we are. And Fort Wayne was actually pretty fun the last time we went. So I'd go back there. I'd go to a lot of places, or I might just sit at home and do commentary for y'all again if NASPA is willing to give me money to sit here and talk about making words.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go wrong with a Scrabble city. It's just more about playing Scrabble. You're not really getting out so much. So it would be nice to not just travel places for the sake of sitting in a room all day.
But yeah, Scrabble Players Championship to be back next year. Where exactly to be determined, but mark your calendars, likely sometime in July, always usually sometime in the summer. Get yourself on out to one. Even if these players are playing at a level that you couldn't dream of getting yourself to with a lot of work, there are numerous divisions available to you. We've been showing Table 1 of Division 1, but we have 4 divisions at this tournament, sort of beginner, advanced, intermediate, and expert. And you'll play with people close to your skill level and have good games all the way through. You'll also certainly make some new friends. You get 300 or 400 word nerds in a room, you're bound to find something else to bond over. I've made so many friends in this sport. I've done a 60-day road trip where I had to spend 2 nights in a hotel because I had so many people willing to host me and couch surf with all the friends I've made along the way. Get yourself out to a Scrabble tournament if you haven't yet. Get yourself out to a Scrabble club. Search Scrabble clubs near me. Check out cross-tables.com for a full list of tournaments upcoming and see if there's one in your area. Search NASPA Scrabble clubs and find a Scrabble club in your area. Scrabble players are nice. For the most part, they don't bite. And yeah, you should come on out, make some new friends, play some board games with people you enjoy. And yeah, you won't regret it. I promise. Jump on in.
Yeah, totally. Scrabble has an amazing community, and yeah, you're bound to meet people that you like and have a good time with. And it's always fun to see the same faces at tournaments. Wherever you are, you're bound to know someone that you've seen before. And it's a really cool way to, yeah, meet like all sorts of different people. So, highly recommend.
While we're in sort of a lull in this game, as Jackson cannot win down 100 points now with an empty bag, I will also give thanks to people who made this tournament possible. John Chu, NASPA president, definitely does a lot of work behind the scenes, programming as well, and running this tournament. Art Moore, tournament director. It cannot be easy to run 2 back-to-back tournaments with hundreds of people, including many, many international players requiring visas, dealing with the obnoxious U.S. government. Christian K. and Andrew down on the ground floor running this stream behind the scenes. And of course, all the co-commentators I've had come in, Chloe coming in on late notice. I really appreciate her flexibility and willingness to call into work. And everybody else I've worked with across this tournament, Mina Lay, Hannah Lieberman, and Nitz as well. And then yesterday, Noah Kalis. We'll have Morris Greenberg on this afternoon, assuming we can get his microphone ready, and Jared Capel tomorrow afternoon for the finals. So thanks to everybody helping put this together, all the people on the ground as well. Every one of these divisions has a division leader who is volunteering their time to collect score sheets, to take director calls and adjudicate things, to do the pairings and make sure everything runs smoothly. Tournaments like this could not exist with a lot of people volunteering a lot of time and energy to put it all together. And I want to thank every single one of them, but the list is far too long for me to go on. But thank you to everybody. And I hope everybody in Vegas volunteering their time still gets to go out and have some fun after the fact in Las Vegas.
Yeah, totally. And thank you, Matt, for doing all this commentary. I know you've been on every single game for the past few days and will be for the next week or so. So awesome job.
I'm doing my best, running out of interesting things to say, and I haven't had a single funny thing to say the entire time, but thanks to everybody watching for putting up with me. Jackson needs to figure out an end game here. You're always looking to go out in 2 in an end game situation, and if possible, to block your opponent's best option. Quackle suggesting that by far Jackson's best sequence, far and away better than the other option, is Arnica, Arnica, through the R in drunk. I'm trying to figure out exactly why Jackson would retain RY. Is there a super good spot to put RY down? I'm going to run through this end game and see. And look, Jackson doing exactly that.
Very
So
nice.
where's this RY going to go? Oh, it plays atop mazes, YER, and YE is 17.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder if he blocked a good option for Joey to
relax, I guess.
Relax maybe.
But he still has Axel, so it doesn't really change that much.
Not super different, but I guess just guaranteeing a reasonably high scoring out in 2. So good job, Jackson, in a game where nothing good really happened to you. Still take that time, figure out the optimal end game, pick up these spread points. And especially if Jackson loses a couple more games, spread could be a consideration. Spread, of course, the margin of victory in the games you play, and you build it up across the tournament. It's the tiebreaker. So if multiple players have the same record, we don't look at head-to-head. We don't look at strength of schedule. The first tiebreaker in Scrabble tournaments is always your point differential or your point spread. So even if you lose, you want to do your best to keep that margin as close as possible. Joey coming down with AXIL, which is his correct thing to do. And Jackson going to go out with YER for 17. That's going to put the final in this game at 445 for Joey Mallick to 337 for Jackson. A tough loss for Jackson, great win for Joey. And we'll cut to the over-the-table banter now to see what they have to say.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I had Hydras to open a game and I missed it.
Really?
So obviously I had to change the plan. No, wait. So 445 to 336.
Yeah, 337. You made 276.
No, oh, there it is right there, I think. Yeah, 337.
Oh shit. Apparently, Sonatina played there.
Oh, wow. Well, I was going to play it there originally.
That's cool. You like Fed Grind? You weren't going to hold it?
Well, they gave me nuts edge. That's just kind of good enough for me.
It's no good.
It isn't good? Yeah. I thought it looked a little funny, but that was an annoying rep I thought of Bingo, so I think it was.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
Even though it would give you back a big place, who knows? Yeah, I remember I was playing Matt Graham one time and he missed a bingo just like that one with all those overlaps. It was like deep pure rate, which it's funny that would go alongside this too. That was only
Not quite. Whoa. Oh, I mean.
Oh, that's sorry, OT. Never mind. Yeah,
That is.
Yeah.
Nicely played. Nicely game.
All right. Well, nothing exciting coming in the post game. I was texting Jackson again. I've got his permission to do this. I asked him about that fibrine play, and Jackson kind of confirming I was pretty sure it wasn't good. Joey saying it give me nuts edge back, so I didn't really even think about it. But perhaps Joey missing that he already had guested as a bingo out of that rack. So he could have picked up an opportunity to win or to pick up more equity, knocking off Jackson's phony and playing guested elsewhere. But that's the end of this one. I think a tough loss for Jackson, as he didn't seem to do anything particularly wrong, but just didn't draw the material he needed. That'll give us a more interesting tournament as Jackson drops to 17-6 and Joey Mallick keeps himself alive at 14-9. I'm sure many players sitting at about 3 through 11 in the standings will be thrilled to see Jackson has lost this game. We are going to cut to a quick break while we try to figure out the best matchup to bring you with the highest stakes. So stay tuned, stay with us. We'll be right back. Once again, I am Matt Canik, joined by Chloe Fatsis, and this is the 2023 Scrabble Players Championship. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.